Hey everybody, Star 6 Wars 1 here, and welcome to the next part of Persona 3 vs 11 Eyes, and the final part for the villains category. For this one, we are taking a look at the big villains themselves, Nyx vs Lieselotte. Now before I continue on any further, I'm going into major spoiler territory with both these characters. So if you want to avoid spoilers, now is the time to leave. Now with that said, let us begin. First up, we're going to go with Lieselotte. Lieselotte is the alter ego of Lisette after having the Void Stone inserted into her. Lieselotte is pretty damn evil and sadistic and takes pleasure in other people's pain. That is until she met her love, Virad, I think that's his name, and he was one of the only people that treated her well, and he had a dream of destroying the world. Yeah, I think he had a pretty screwed up mind at the time. And when he died, that became Lieselotte's dream, destroy the world, as he was the only good thing for her. She would continue to do this until the Black Knight sealed her away back in the 40s. Yeah, the story's a little confusing. After that, we see her again rise after Yuka stupidly frees her. And basically she wreaks havoc and is ultimately stopped by the hero, blah blah, everything you know. Honestly though, if you look up some of the stuff for the visual novel, you will realize just how evil this character really is. And how, why I would put her in my villains tournament, she is sadistic and full of just evil. And she is practically unwinnable in the anime. They actually have to cheat to win against her, pretty much having to seal her away along with Avaretta. But that may not have ultimately stopped her in the anime, as we see the moon is still evil by the end of the anime, but there was never a sequel made, so there's a lot of plot holes left open. And yeah, there's that. Lieselotte ultimately is what I would look for for a villain that is just pure evil, which I quite like. Now going to the flip side for Nyx. Nyx is very interesting, as we don't actually see Nyx until the very end of Persona 3. And I mean the very end. Now, Nyx is an extremely tough boss, at least the Avatar version is, and it takes at many turns. Basically, you have to fight 13 different forms of it, and you will get tired out pretty fast. I mean, it's pretty powerful on itself. Then Nyx reveals its true form, the moon. I'm not joking. The moon is freaking Nyx. Now, and that's why it was said beforehand. Beforehand it was said, oh, this is an undefeatable opponent you are facing. When you realize that, oh shit, its real body is the moon, you realize why it was undefeatable. There is no way you can stop it. And literally the player has to sacrifice his very life to become a great seal, to seal Nyx away from causing humanity's doom. It becomes more interesting, however, when you realize that Nyx is not doing this out of any malevolent intent. It is doing this because it is the will of humanity to wish upon its death. That is Nyx's purpose, to just bring about the death that the humans wish for. It's not doing this out of cruel, malicious intent. It's doing it because that's truly what it wishes humanity wants. As revealed in some dialogue where it actually sighs and tells you that you and your party, that it wishes that you and your party were more like the rest of humanity. Then that way the fall could have been prevented. Ultimately proving my point in that it never wanted the fall, that's its job. And that's all it is to it. It's not that it likes it, it's just you can't do much about fate. And ultimately that still kind of rings true to the very end. Nyx is never defeated. Ever. You seal it away. And hope and pray that seal can remain. In short, you'll never see the protagonist again because he sacrificed his very life to save everyone else. Which is really powerful if you think about it. And I recommend just watching the rest, looking at the rest of yourself, or, get the game, because it's pretty amazing. Ultimately, between the two, it's actually a really difficult choice. Because Nyx is more like a natural disaster. It is unstoppable, and there's no cheat codes to beat it. The best you can do is seal it away and hope and pray it worked. Whereas with Lieselotte, there is a way to beat her, it's just not that easy. Also, Lieselotte is full-on malicious. Nyx is not. But I'd argue that Nyx is more powerful than Lieselotte, so it's really up to you which kind of villain you would want to win. Because is it the anti-villain that's not doing this out of malicious intent and doesn't like that it's doing it but has no choice? Or do you side with Lieselotte, who is completely and unredeemably evil and basically wants to destroy the world because that's how she feels? This is why I'm having a very difficult time deciding this and why it's taken so long for this part to come out. I don't know who I want to win this. But ultimately, I think it's really up to you to decide. Which one do you think is the better villain? I would really like to know. If you could answer that for me, I would be mostly appreciative. However, aside from that, the true winners of this is Persona 3. Persona 3 has ultimately the more fleshed out villains, and I think the more potential granted full on with this. Where the potential was there for 11 Eyes' villains, but wasn't fully realized. So ultimate winner of the villains category is Persona 3. Anyways, that's all from me. This has been Star 6 Wars 1, and I'll see you guys next time.